Morning, guys. Great couple days, conversations in the background about the post that I put up yesterday, My original listeners that are still here, they saw it. They saw the timeline talking to people where it went off the deep end, right? And one of the things I've talked about openly was my struggles with being depressed. When I get bedridden and I get hurt, I get depressed. When I answer the questionnaire from my doctors, honestly, it comes off as clinical depression. Trust me, when I was on that medication, I felt what people feel. I know what you guys go through. It was eye-opening. I never doubted guys that said I have depression or suicidal thoughts and things like that. I just didn't understand it until I was on the medication. It made me do a 180 and I was a different person. I've said it before. I felt like the victim and not the villain. I'm okay being the villain. Why? Because I speak my mind and I tell it like it is? Do I offend people? Do I try to fuck your girlfriends? Do I owe anybody money? Have I ever asked anybody to borrow money? No. That's why I put up that post the other day of LL Cool J. No, I might not be a nice, happy-go-lucky, fluffy guy. I'm in pain and I'm miserable. Conversations with the ex-girlfriend about her next ex-boyfriend. He was nice. Right. Well, most of those people that are smiling and being nice are putting on a mask because they don't want you to see what's behind the scenes. You might not like me and you might not like the way I act, but I'm genuine 100% of the time. And in conversation with the guys behind the scenes that don't really know me, but have seen me from the podcast, have seen that. Have I lied? Have I made up any stories? Or have I stuck to facts? Yep, I might have gone at a few people. Were those people talking shit to my girlfriend? They made it personal. They made it not about golf. See, I have my opinions, and most of the time when people ask my opinion, they already know what it is. They're just asking it to wind me up. Okay. I'll give you a show. You already don't like me. See the drunken accountant who I had never had a conversation with in my entire life. Never said 2 words to him. But yet when he went up to Rockland and sat at a bar next to a friend of mine that he didn't realize was friends, started talking shit about me. You know that golf pro around the corner at Harmon? Man, he's such an asshole, isn't he? Funny. How do you know? Because I said something that you boys didn't like, and the way to discredit me is to tell everybody I'm an asshole. Have I gotten into it with you? Have I made it personal with anybody? I have now, after the fact. Most people that are listening don't even know what the tagline's from. Let's go. It's what I used to say to Bogey when I wanted him to go do something. Yep, you may have a lab or an Australian shepherd or all these kind of dogs that are ready to go. No. You don't have to encourage them. You don't have to get them going. Bulldogs, you do. So, what a better tagline than use what I used to say to my mascot to end every session. It just kind of came natural. The other conversation I had with somebody behind the scenes yesterday, he's a great listener. He's been here from day one. I fit him probably 7 years ago. Never had another conversation with him again. But he's been supportive of the podcast and likes this and comments on that. So yesterday when I was about to interview for a job in his industry, I called him to talk about it. And we started talking about the podcast and he's like, man, I feel like I'm sitting at a bar when I listen to you. Right next to you. You just being you and it's authentic and I love it. Yeah, sometimes I got off the rails and I got away from it and I see it. And when he would tell me where and when, I would agree. You know how good that putters episode could have been when I was my personality, when I'm hyping shit up and I love shit and I get excited about stuff. But everybody labels me a complainer because that's all you want to hear about. That's all you get in my DMs about. Right? He's a complainer. Ooh, let's fuel the fire. Let's send him this from my club or send him that experience that happened with me. It's kind of funny. I'm authentic and I'm going to be me, and whether you like it or don't like it, I'm okay with that. I know there's going to be some people that didn't like what I talked about yesterday. I don't care. It's the truth. I've been ranting and raving anti-golf for the last 12 months, and I still have 3 job offers in the golf industry. 2 out of 3 are from owners that are trash. They want to hire me because they know I'll restore their business. And then after 2 years, when business is thriving again, stay in your lane. I'll take it from here, son. And they go right back to their old ways, and the business is shit. How many golf pros has Caddyshack 2 gone through? Forget Caddyshack 2. Think about your golf course. How many golf pros have they gone through? Are you a member at one of those golf courses that just let a guy go after 30 years because it was time for a change? That's what we go through as a golf pro. We know that any wrong decision on any given day or wrong comment could cost us our job. I never had to worry about that. Yes, I'm an asshole, and I stand by my principles. But I only speak the truth, and I don't get into it about anything else but golf. I could care less about politics. Nothing I say is going to change your mind. Nothing you say is going to change my mind. Why do you think when I walked in the bar all the time and all the guys sitting over at the table in the corner, hey, John, what's up? And I'd wave and I'd just keep walking around the bar and go sit on the other side of the bar by myself? Because I don't want to get into it about politics or religion or race or any of those things that are hot button topics that if you say the wrong thing, you might get canceled. You might offend some people. Nope. I talk golf and I stick to the facts, and I always will. And whether I keep this podcast going or not, who knows? Who cares? It's become therapy for me now. No, I can't afford therapy right now. And every time I ask my doctors, yeah, we just don't have it. It's not an option. We don't have it available. And all the people that were questioning me at the beginning and you can't say that, but then reached out 6 months later and was like, hey, bud, you need somebody to talk to? No, leave me the fuck alone. You made your judgment on me. Go over there and keep judging me from afar. Most of the people agree with everything I say. You know how many guys have reached out and said, dude, spot on. I agree with you. I can't share it though. I'll get in trouble at work. We've gotten that bad as a society that you can't have an opinion or you get in trouble at work because all these companies are so afraid to get behind the other side of the argument. I haven't said anything offensive. Yeah, I dropped the F word here and there, but all the companies that were all on board at the beginning, I won't even bother getting into it because I'm not going to give them their shine. But all the companies that used to like every post, share the occasional one, as soon as I went off the rails and went down and was struggling mentally, have all gone the other way. They still follow me, though. They still look at every story. They just do it silently. And that's okay. I'm cool with that. What's it that dude said on the Spotify podcast? You don't need a lot of friends. All you need is 3 motherfuckers. And trust me, I got my boys. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't live close to me. So, yeah, I don't have the opportunity to play golf with a lot of them. But it's funny. My phone's gone quiet since I don't have the options and I don't have the access to all these places. I see guys that were hitting me up. Where are we playing this weekend? When are we going to play? I see them all over online playing all these nice... Oh, my buddy invited me. Okay, call him next time. Well, he doesn't live around here. Okay, fine. Not my problem. I'll find 3 others. Don't worry about it. We're getting back to golf this summer, and I swear to God, it's going to be my hobby, and we're going to have some fun, and yes, I'm going to talk as much shit as I want to because it's what I do. You know, I scratched the surface yesterday about how golf was never really a fun thing for me. It hurts for me to play golf. Every time. And when I'm done 18 holes, I go home and I die. You know why? Because one of the biggest symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis is exhaustion. So yes, I'm always tired. And yeah, I'm going to struggle coming down the stretch a lot of days. Sleep's a problem. It's an issue and it sucks. But I'd lose sleep even more if I kept my opinion to myself. Like I said, I can't afford a therapist. My network doesn't have them. Being ranty on here has been healthy for me. It's gotten me back to me. How many businesses do you know that have just absolutely gone away from who they are or what they are? You know, there's certain exercises that I can do sitting down with a medicine ball and stuff that will help me get my speed back to my golf swing. I went to Dick's yesterday. Everything in the entire store is marked price-wise except for their kettlebells and medicine balls. So what did I do? I went home and shopped online. I got one from Amazon. And then dicks will say, well, the brick and mortar is just not working. We keep doing everything. Our main business is online, because that's what you're catering to. They don't want guys in the store because they have to pay employees in the store to accommodate the customers. McDonald's is bitching about how they've gotten kind of priced out from the millennials and the younger guys that used to hit up the dollar menu, or it was the reasonable meal. It's not anymore. I've been calling it for 5 years. I'm an independent voter. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. So I'm on the side of the aisle of minimum wage at $15 an hour is going to put a lot of people out of business. But anytime you say anything that disagrees with the Democrats, they don't prove their point. They don't argue their point. They cry foul and whine. That's the problem with our country. Nobody can agree to disagree. And if you speak up, you're labeled a complainer, and they just keep going down the road of bad to worse. The conditions at Caddyshack 2 aren't awful. They're just not Caddyshack 2. And it's gotten a little worse every year. How many golf courses can say that? A lot of them. Because they focus on things that don't matter. When you put carts out when the golf course is soaked, it's a cash grab. If your golf course is in such a bad spot that you can't afford to give up the 100 players at $20 a player for a golf cart, so $2,000 on a day in March, you need to think at your accountant. You need to look at your accountant. You need to look at the budget. You need to figure out what went wrong and where. Look at all the other golf courses that were on the same level as Caddyshack about 7 or 8 years ago. Marshfield, thriving. Plymouth, thriving. Walpole, still pretty solid. You know, you can go on and on throughout those states that were at that $5,000 or $6,000 a year price. The ones that stuck to golf and stuck to improving their club. Worcester's another one. Worcester did a sales run the same time that Caddyshack 2 did when I joined. How many of those members are gone? How many of the sale members at Caddyshack are still left? Because they didn't include them. They didn't listen to them. This is what we're looking for out of a golf course. The drunken accountant went up to Rockland talking shit about me. I brought guests. I never used my minimum on apparel, merchandise, shit that they make no money on. I pretty much used it on booze and food every month. Never went in the golf shop to buy anything. I didn't need anything. I was never behind on a bill. I never stopped payment on anything. I never disputed a check or a monthly statement because I never looked at it. I trusted you were going to do your job. And the one time that I looked at it, I was charged for Snell golf balls and 2 gloves and a couple hats in the golf shop. Guessing it wasn't me, that's for sure. But that's what it is. That's what people look at when they're thinking about joining a club or leaving a club. And I know I single out Caddyshack because it's my experience, but it happens everywhere. And the guys that say something, you know, I didn't make that charge. I wasn't there that day. Get labeled as complainers and trunk divers and, oh, they don't spend any money and the nickel and dime and everything. We'll get it right. How about that? How about looking at yourself and self-evaluating? Are we doing things right? Where did we go wrong? It's funny, they took out all the abrevieties at Caddyshack. Awesome. Open space. Oh, well, we got to add hardwoods to protect people. Do you protect people? Or do you put people in more damage and open people up to the excuse of, oh, sorry, I didn't yell 4. I didn't see you over there. Part of open space and part of common knowledge and golf etiquette is seeing what's going on around you, knowing when to yell 4, knowing when it's 20 yards right of somebody. No need to yell 4 because they may run into it. It's part of learning golf and it's part of understanding golf. And unfortunately, all these COVID golfers came in, they know nothing about etiquette. And when you try to teach them, they don't listen or they call you a complainer. So after the 15th time of trying to teach them, yes, you walk up to them and say, hey, you fucking asshole, you almost just hit me in the fucking eye. Oh, I didn't see you there. That's not my responsibility. It's yours. As a COVID golfer, learn. The funniest one is when I hit a ball 4 yards over and I yell 4 and you get up there and they're bitching at you. What the fuck? Blah, blah, blah. Dude, I yelled 4. It's not my fault you have your radio so loud that you couldn't hear it. Fuck off. And I walk away. But I'm the bad guy. It's funny. You go, all these people. Do I cheat on my wife? No. Have I ever been arrested? No. Do I owe anybody? No. But I'm the bad guy because I speak up for myself. See, my fuck you isn't to anyone specific. My fuck you is to society in general. There's two sides. You're either right or you're wrong. And when you go to argue, it's either a fight or disrespect. And if they can't discredit you, conversations with Bob the Builder taught him quickly, wow, he does know what he's talking about. I can't bullshit him. I can't sell him. We got to just try to pacify him and shut him up. Because he knows he can't beat me in a golf argument. So they make it personal. They talk shit to your girlfriend and tell her, why do you date him? Why don't you break up with him? He's such an asshole. How do you stay with him? To the point where after a few years, she's finally got, you know what? He is an asshole. You're right. Okay, leave. Bye. But leave. Don't leave and keep texting me every time you feel sad or every time you break up with that new boyfriend and you start looking back. You know, that's the difference. The other LL Cool J thing that I posted yesterday. Oh, no, this one was a 50 Cent one. I don't forgive friends. You leave and call me an ex-friend? Bye, Rihanna. Get the fuck out. You don't affect me. When have I called people to go hang out? When have I called you to play golf? No, I usually put up a post. Hey, need 2 tomorrow. Need 3 tomorrow. Who's in? I don't care. I don't need to date you to play golf with you. I don't need to be friends with you to play golf with you. I actually like playing against people that I don't like even more because when I beat the shit out of them, it feels that much better. Golf is competitive to me, as always has. You can't grow up as a kid trying to grind and be the best that you possibly can and shoot the best number that you possibly can every time you put the peg in the ground and then just flip a switch and say, okay, it's cool. You know, we can talk, we can have fun, we can listen to music. We won't play for anything. We'll just go out and just hit balls and just go through the motions. It's not fun to me because it hurts. Physically. It's funny, I was listening to EEI this morning. They were going on and on about sex and how many times a week it should be and married couples and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm laughing. You know, rheumatoid arthritis attacks all of my organs. All of them. Different times, different ways. Yeah. Touch. People touching me sometimes burns. It hurts. When you rub my shoulders, it hurts my skin. So yeah. Sex isn't a big part of my life, and I laugh at all these people that are like, oh, we have it 5 times a week. Oh, that sounds so painful to me. Everybody's different. Everybody matters. Everybody cares about different things in life. When I was diagnosed 20 years ago with rheumatoid arthritis, it was a wheelchair sentence. By the time I was 40 or 50, I expected to be on disability in a wheelchair. The medications have gotten good, yes. They're not great. They're not 100% better. I'm still in pain, but I can live a normal, manageable life. And that's great, except for the fact that I've kind of lived the last 20 years knowing I wasn't going to have a family. I probably wouldn't have a wife. How do you hit on a girl in a wheelchair? But let's go to that. Have I ever hit on you as a female? Or did you assume I was hitting on you? I sit at the bar by myself with my head down eating. If somebody talks to me or asks a question, I answer. I answer it honestly. If people like the answer, they continue. They ask me another question. If they don't, they get offended and they go back to their beer, and I'm okay with that. See, I never have to wait 2 years down the line and call a friend that we're not friends anymore and be like, yo, my bad. I'm sorry I did that. No, because I keep it about the topic until you make it personal. When you make it personal, I respond in kind. If you can't handle it and you choose to leave, fine, go. It's okay. I'm all right with it. I'm over here with my 3 motherfuckers. Think about your friend group. How many of your friends would you trust on a night out in a hotel with your girlfriend, with them, with no supervision? How many of your friends do you trust leaving your wallet hanging around? fully trust. The groupies are going to say, oh, my friends, I trust them. No, it's not true. Most people have 2 or 3 people that they trust, and then probably another 2, 3 people that they trust, but there's always that, And then the rest of them are, no, we're cool at the golf course or we're cool at the bar, but no, I wouldn't trust them to babysit my kids. No, I wouldn't trust them with my girlfriend. No, I wouldn't let them borrow money because I know it's not coming back. You see, I might not be a nice person, but deep down, I'm a pretty good dude. You know, I support causes, and anybody next to me, when I spoil the shit out of them. Because what good's enjoying shit if you can't enjoy it with your friends? But nobody ever has to worry about what I'm doing behind their back or what I'm saying behind their back. Because me, I'm an open book and I'm honest. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Get away from me. But don't ask me my opinion when you already know it just to wind me up and get me going. And then when I give you my opinion, say, oh, he's just a fucking asshole. Did you see what he just said? Or don't go to a bar at my job. The reason why I worked up there and was a member down here was to keep the two separate. It's funny, the drunken accountant wants to move bunkers on 13 because guys are driving the green. There's been a good joke with a group chat back and forth about OB stakes and toning the golf course down. When Scotty Scheffler drove 12 the other day, the phone blew up and was like, oh, Pete Dye's on his way to TPC tomorrow to change 12 so guys can't drive the green. And then I chimed in and was like, maybe the used car salesman will put out of bounds stakes in at the 50-yard marker. You can't hit it past that. If you do, you're out of bounds. It's a local rule. It's only in effect on the first shot. That's how delusional these people are, that these jokes that we have in the group chat could be a reality tomorrow. They don't know golf. And unfortunately, that happens all over the country. I've worked at 4 or 5 different golf courses with Bob the Builder types that have no clue how to sell golf. And they turn classic private clubs into a used car lot. Am I that far off, or do I speak the truth? It's funny, a lot of guys that used to be in the golf industry agree with me. Those are the guys that agree publicly. The ones that are still in, they send me DMs and say, dude, spot on. I wish I could share that. But they know if they do, a member may see it and they may lose their job. I never cared about my job. I cared, but I never worried about it. I put my head down, I go to work, I do my job. And when I'm not being listened to and I'm not being paid, I find a new one. The one problem with Almeida Golf was I had more people to answer to as an owner and a partner than I did when I worked at Harmon. It was nonsense paperwork that meant nothing about growing the business. That's all they cared about was the bottom line and the money and what are you doing with this and what are you doing with that. And anytime I had an idea, I had to run it by 5 people and wait a week to get a response. And then by the time I got the response, I was busy the next week and wasn't able to put that idea in place. You see, there's a difference between being an investor and hiring somebody. Unfortunately, a lot of guys with money don't know the difference. I had my ideas for Almeida Golf, and the ones that truly bought in, we killed it. You know, I have sheets from Thorny Lee, the Country Club, other places that I was at, Black Rock a few Wednesdays. From 8 in the morning till 5 at night, I was booked solid. The model worked. It was just getting golf pros who are scared about everything because they're afraid to lose their job to buy in and get on board. You get guys like Bob the Builder and the used car salesman saying, I just don't understand why we need to bring you in. Our assistants can do the same job. They can't. And that's why guys go to TrueSpec and get robbed. So you're worried about your members' bottom line and their budget and their accounts and how much they're willing to spend on golf. But then you're willing to let them go to TrueSpec and Club Champion and spend 3/4 of that budget on gear that's not going to help them. They're not going to benefit from. But if you say that, you're being anti-TrueSpec and Club Champion. You're being anti-golf. You're being anti-everything about the new mechanism, the technology, this, that, and the other thing. I see Mygolfspy with a with a post about a scuff on a golf ball losing 40 yards. Come on, dude. Really? Anybody that's played Resi and hit the road on the 6th hole and continued to play that golf ball, have you lost 40 yards or 30 yards? No. If you did, you would have noticed it right away and took the ball out of play. Now, indirectly, a company like Snell, who's struggling with their new cover and scuffing, Mygolfspy is killing them. Because bad, incorrect information that was done in a monitor on a box that isn't seen out on the golf course directly affects their sales. But they can't say that because they need Mygolfspy, because Mygolfspy is an independent. It's funny, they never liked Titleist. The Pro V1 was always down the list. The putters were always Scotty's overrated. The drivers, everything was overrated until they finally started giving you product and bought in. But why did they give you product and buy in? Because they went public and their investors said, we need to increase sales. And going against Mygolfspy and Dick's and PGA Superstore and all those box stores that Titleist was always against hurt sales. So when they went public, yep, they opened accounts with all of them. And the wholesale price kept creeping up and up and up. And they kept funneling you to the box store. And then you get guys from Caddyshack 2, Resi, Ledgemont, Crestwood, all those clubs in this area that kind of struggle with sales and marketing and how do we fit into that golfer's budget, lost those sales. You think it makes money for a golf course to sell Pro V1s? $55 a dozen that costs you $42. What's the sense? Why bother pushing it? Oh, but we offer 4 for $3 in the spring. Right. Our cost goes up. There's no discount on wholesale. It's a discount to the customer. You see, sales pitches are ruining golf. And it used to be like 80% of golfers understood, and then the new 20% within the last 3 or 4 years kind of sat on the sidelines and waited and kind of followed along with the guys that knew what they were doing did. But that's not the case anymore since COVID, because that 80% is now shrunk to 30%. And 50% or 70% of the golfers are newish. I'd say if you did the math, it's probably 50 to 60% of golfers have taken up golf within the last 5 years. Now they're the voice, but unfortunately the golfers that have been here and that have been trained to button up and just take it and not say anything are still sitting here buttoned up and taking it and not saying anything. And now the 70% that has no clue has taken over, and it's gotten out of control. They don't know what good conditions are. So when they see it and they get on the board and they say, oh, we need to jam budget, they forget about what attracted golfers to their place in the first place. When I saw the deal at Caddyshack 2 at $3,500 for 3 years, it was a no-brainer from everything that I knew and remembered back in the day. Now, I hadn't played it in probably 5 or 10 years. Well, I was shocked when I joined at how far it had fallen, and slowly but surely it's gotten worse and worse and worse until this November. Why? Because they lost the greens in August. The guy next door came in and said, you got to punch, you got to top dress. We have to introduce sand. So they listened to him for about 3 months. And by the time the cool weather came, they shut the water off, they got good. Let's see how they come out of the winter. Are they going to punch in April or May and get the golf course the way it should be? Or are they going to needle tine and do one little top dress and no fertilizer and blame it all on budget? See, that's where different golf courses either win or lose. You know, Worcester won. They did a membership drive, and all that money that they took in from the membership drive, they put towards the golf course and getting better. They renovated the golf course first. Now, yeah, they may do the clubhouse and they may do some other things, but it's because they don't have to worry about the golf course. It's already good. The other things are additions to. They are extras. They're on top of good golf. Yeah, I'm sure there's some social members there that join for the pool and for the restaurant and for the bar and for the grill. But is that really going to move the needle? You know, if they put in a pizza oven at Worcester Country Club, is it going to add to sales? No. It's going to take away from something else. They know that. When they do a renovation, did they cheap it? Did they go find some local architect and some local company to do the work? No. They waited until they could afford to do the right thing, and they went and they got Gil Hantz, an expert, and Brad Klein, another expert who Caddyshack had. Call me a complainer. I don't care. Tell me I'm stuck harping on a golf course and I'm a loser for doing so. I don't care. What do you think I say about you when you sit there at the table ranting about fucking Trump and how great he is? I just shake my head and laugh. That's how bad our country is right now. It's gotten so bad that you can't say anything negative about anybody, that we have a dude that can't walk up a fucking flight of stairs as our president, and a dude who can't get online without pissing off 3/4 of the population of the world running against him. Those are our best options for fucking president. That's what we've gotten to by being a yes man type society. Fuck that. I'll sit over here in my corner and I'll rant and rave what I want, so that way I never have to look back and say, maybe I should go apologize for that. No, I don't apologize for being me and having my opinion. If you don't like it, fuck off. If you do, jump on board. Let's go.